They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Doug Brown. He's likely to be the number one pick in the NBA draft, and Duke's Cooper Flagg announces today he will enter the draft. 2 games in the NBA playoffs tonight. The Knicks bring a 1-game lead over the Pistons into Game 2, and on ESPN Radio at 9:30 Eastern, the Nuggets bring a 1-game lead over the Clippers into Game 2. The Warriors' win over the Rockets Sunday night was the 100th playoff win for Coach Steve Kerr.
Players win games. It's our job to try to help them along a little bit here and there. And I've coached Steph Curry and Draymond Green for 11 years. So, of course, we've got a lot of playoff wins.
Steve Kerr, baseball today. The Red Sox beat the White Sox 4-2. Christian Campbell drives in 2. Stanley Cup playoff doubleheaders on both ESPN and ESPN2 tonight, including Game 1 for the Capitals and Canadiens and for the Oilers and Kings. Kenya's John Career and Sharon Lucchetti win the Boston Marathon today. American Susanna Scaroni, the wheelchair winner.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up on Tuesday after 8 a.m. Eastern, Adam Schefter joins us just a few days before the NFL Draft. We'll get the latest intel from Shefty on Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Mister. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ben McDonald, 15 minutes. Mike Triplett, next hour. David Dellucci in hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Welcome to Draft Week. We are now counting down the hours until the Tennessee Titans are on the clock. And it wouldn't be Draft Week without speculation and reports running rampant. And here on Monday, we got a pretty significant one from the most significant NFL reporter there is, Adam Schefter, about the New Orleans Saints. Schefter, in his NFL draft notebook Monday morning, I won't bury the lead or make you wait for it. Schefter is reporting that the New Orleans Saints are interested and making phone calls, exploring the possibility of moving up, very likely in the second round, to draft a quarterback. Schefter also notes that the Saints are unlikely to take a quarterback at number 9. So there has been tons of conversation about Shedeur Sanders with the 9th pick. As a matter of fact, as we sit here today on Monday afternoon, if you look at the betting odds for the position the New Orleans Saints are going to draft on Thursday in round 1, the position for their first pick is quarterback at plus 140 odds. So they are more likely to draft a quarterback, according to odds makers, than any other position. It's not to say it's a lock that's what's going to happen. But as of now, what Schefter is reporting is that the New Orleans Saints are, I'll read this directly from Schefter's report. There is a belief around the league that the Saints are more interested in using a high pick on an offensive or defensive lineman because there are questions about 2 starters, tackle Trevor Penning and guard Nick Saldiveri. He goes on to say the belief is they want to draft a quarterback, just maybe not at number 9 and maybe not Shedeur Sanders. As another personnel executive said, quote, I don't think New Orleans is taking Shedeur. I think they're hot and heavy on Jackson Dart. Okay, so that's where the interesting part of this whole conversation begins, and let's kind of dive into some of the meat on the bone here. Number 1, we know that the Saints have 9 selections in this year's draft. I don't know, some 27. March 20, just about a month ago, Muse and I were having the conversations about the Saints having 9 picks. Go ahead. You're laughing. Go ahead. Say it. You can say it.
Hey.
The Saints are not making 9 picks. Twice in the last quarter century have the Saints made at least 9 picks in a draft. It's just not something that they do. And this organization, this executive team, they are looking to move up. So they want to package picks this year or next year's assets to move up. They don't let the draft come to them. They don't trade back and acquire assets. They trade up. So it's no surprise at all that the Saints here are looking to move up. Now, I'll remind you, the Saints have 2 3s and 2 4s in this draft because of the Marshawn Lattimore trade. So you have your pick at 9. You've got your pick at 40 overall. Then you've got your 3, Washington's 3, your 4, Washington's 4. That's all part of the Lattimore trade. So if you're able to use some of the assets you acquired to ship Marshawn Lattimore off to Washington, he stunk, by the way, up there after he got healthy, and you're able to parlay that into potentially your franchise quarterback, that would be a win. We're a long way away from knowing if that's going to happen, but the Jackson Dart of it all. Again, the consensus seems to be that the Saints would take a quarterback at 9, and that means that would be Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward goes 1, Shedeur goes 9. We all get it, right? That's sort of the consensus belief. Well, what Schefter's reporting is that the feeling around the league is that the Saints are on March 18th, so this is just over a month ago. This was on Get Up just over a month ago. Here was Mel Kiper on Dart to the Saints.
Nobody's talking me out of this one, Granny. Jackson Dart locked into the Saints at 9 for me right now. I think when you look at Jackson Dart, the improvement, completion percentage up every year. Okay, interceptions down, and he maintained that at 5.6. Touchdowns up every year. Jackson Dart with his legs, 1,500 rushing yards the last 3 years. Okay, 8 rushing touchdowns 2 years ago. That's the underrated part of Jackson Dart's game. This is an NFC now, adding Jaden and Caleb, Michael Penix Jr., the division with Penix Jr., and 2 number 1s overall, Baker and Bryce Young. And now you get Jackson Dart. You got to keep up with the division, Greeny. The Saints, you get new coach, new quarterback coming in together.
So that was a month ago when Kiper mocked Jackson Dart to the Saints at 9. Now, I think that's absurd. And I've told you that before. I don't think you go, like, we watched Jackson Dart as a starting player in college football for 4 years at Southern Cal, then Ole Miss. And nobody, when his career ended, had him as a top 10 pick. Nobody. You cannot convince me that you're going to go from not even being in the first round, let alone the top 10, to going to the Pajama Olympics at the Combine or your pro day, and all of a sudden now you're a top 10 pick. I don't buy it. I got 4 years worth of sample size evidence to suggest that nobody thought he was a top 10 pick. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to draft him. It just means I don't want to take the risk of a top 10 on reaching for a player. I'm good with Dart. I'm not good with Dart at 9. To be so worth reminding you. We all know, 1971, Archie Manning, number 2 overall. That is the only time the New Orleans Saints in their history have selected a quarterback in round 1. They have never, not once ever, selected a quarterback in round 2. After Archie Manning in round 1 in 1971, the next highest drafted quarterback in New Orleans Saints history was Garrett Grayson in round 3. So if the Saints pull the trigger on a quarterback ahead of that, you're talking about some history for this organization that has not used high draft picks on quarterbacks. I think that also is very clear why we've had a very inglorious history with the New Orleans Saints, because they refuse to invest in the most important position in organized team sports. So the other part of Schefter's report that I found very interesting was he said if the New Orleans Saints do not pick a quarterback, the belief is they're more interested in using a high pick on an offensive or defensive lineman. Now, we've been over this, and the Saints do invest heavily at the top of the draft in the line of scrimmage. Taliesin Fuanga, Brian Brzee, Trevor Penning was a first-rounder. Cesar Ruiz was a first-rounder. Eric McCoy was a second-rounder, but he was the first pick in that year's draft. We can talk about Peyton Turner and Marcus Davenport. Like, the Saints invest heavily here. And I'm going to go Friday. I don't want you to Friday. And I'm going to be okay or trade up from 9 overall. Number ones, and you're not a good enough roster to be able to give up future ones to take a chance. So if you look at offensive line, yes, you drafted Taliesin Fuanga last year, but Trevor Penning, you didn't pick up his fifth-year option, and you don't have a true starter at left guard. We'll see how that may go this year. So you could draft an offensive lineman and get a starter that can help you. Also, if you go defensive line, you did draft Brian Brzee with your first pick 2 years ago, but the New Orleans Saints were second to last in the NFL in rush defense a year ago. If you can go get a big run stuffer in the middle of the defense, I'd be okay with that. And I'll remind you, when the New Orleans Saints defense was great under Dennis Allen, they had that long streak from November of 2017 to December of 2020. 55 consecutive games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. When the Saints defense was great under Dennis Allen, they were great at stopping the run. They were atrocious last year at stopping the run. Get a run stopper, I'd be good with that. So I don't know what it's gonna mean. I don't know what the Saints are going to do at 9. We'll all sit and wait and watch and find out together. But I'm going to be okay with whatever they do, so long as it's not a running back or moving up from 9 even higher, because you can't give up future years' assets. Any other position you want to take. If you want to pull the trigger on Shadur Sanders at 9, I'm going to be good with that. But if you can get me a starting caliber player at 9, plug-and-play immediate guy, and then you can package picks from the Lattimore trade, maybe to move up and get Jackson Dart, and you feel like you get your franchise quarterback as well, I think that might be the best case scenario for New Orleans if they can pull it off. Of course, we'll be talking about it all week here on AFR. All right, we're brought to you by Bud Light. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Saints, and the official beer of the Tigers. LSU back at home this weekend for a big series against Tennessee. If you're going to be at the box, at the sports bar, at your house, wherever you're going to be, make sure you've got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Speaking of the baseball Tigers, former Tiger great Ben McDonald was on the call for ESPN family of networks for all 3 games. Big Ben will join us next to talk about LSU's series win over Alabama. That's next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Okay, y'all. Friday. Friday is the deadline. Friday is your last opportunity Gordon is giving away free MacBooks to graduating high school seniors. If you have a senior, a graduating senior in your family, or know someone who is, remember, go to gordonsgrads.com, and you can find out all the info of how you can enter to win one of these free MacBooks. Again, if you are a graduating high school senior, going to college or trade school, Gordon's giving you an opportunity to win a free MacBook. I think he's giving away 15 of them. There'll be 15 winners. So go to gordonsgrads.com to enter. Remember, the deadline is this Friday. So you can go to any of Gordon's social medias at GetGordon to get the info, or go to gordonsgrads.com. That's gordonsgrads.com. Gordon, such a great supporter of all of our communities here. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
I thought it was a good week. Good win on Tuesday, good win Thursday, comeback fashion, good win Friday, close game fashion. Those are important with what's ahead of us, to the team to know that they can do that. And then, our opponent played a better ball game than we did today. So I think they need a day off. We worked really hard this week. Outside of just playing the games that we played, we worked really hard. Not that we don't always, but it was very intentful, a little more volume on them. So we need a day off tomorrow, and then we'll get reset and get back to work on Monday.
Jay Johnson, after LSU takes 2 out of 3 against Alabama. Ben McDonald was on the call all weekend long for the ESPN Family Network. It's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Ben, we always appreciate it, man. How are you?
Anytime. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just doing good. It was a solid weekend, and really a solid week for LSU with 4 quality, games against really tough RPI type teams. McNeese got a pretty good team. I don't think anybody gave them the credit they deserve. They got a solid team. So all in all, pretty good week for LSU.
You know, Tigers are pacing well, Ben. I mean, they're right where you want to be. They're at 12 wins so far through 6 weekends, so they're pacing toward 20-10 with a tough stretch. If I were to ask you your biggest overall takeaway from this weekend for LSU, good or bad, what is the single biggest headline from the weekend for LSU?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that, I mean, the offense needs to get a little bit better, a little bit more. You know, I crunched some numbers. Their last 6 SEC games, going back to the 3 against Auburn where they were swept and 3 this weekend, runners in scoring position has not been great for LSU. I always look at that stat. Nobody talks a lot, but I think that's a big stat for me. How do you hit with runners in scoring position? LSU only 11 for 64 in their last 6 SEC games. That's 172 average. And so they've been a team that's been, right at 340 mark, runners in scoring position, but the last 2 weekends have been a little bit tougher offensively, and so that's a little concern. I think they're going to come out of that, although the competition's fixing to really ramp up the next 3 weekends. It won't be easy against some pretty good pitching staffs, but I think it's in them. Jarrett Jones, not a great weekend against Auburn, not a great weekend this past weekend either. He's going to get going. He's too good. He's got too much experience, so he'll get going on that end. And the other concern is, the number 3 starter, right? I mean, that's Chase Shores, and I'm not totally surprised. And I think me and you talked about this a couple of months ago. I mean, he's a kid that had 18 innings his freshman year, didn't pitch at all last year. So in a lot of ways, he's still kind of in his freshman year from an experience standpoint. I think he's going to be back in there, but Jay's kind of tinkering around with that number 3 starter right now, But all in all, I think this is a solid team. I like where they are right now. Now, you got Tennessee, A&M, and Arkansas coming up. So that's going to be a really, really tough stretch. And when the dust settles these next 3 weekends, you're going to kind of see where you are then.
Ben, you mentioned that 172 with runners in scoring position. They also struck out 30 times this weekend. And for a team that led the SEC with the fewest strikeouts, that's kind of alarming. To what do you attribute? You watched all 27 innings this weekend. To what do you attribute that number from this weekend?
Well, look, the ebbs and flows over 30 games in this conference, you're not going to always be on point. And LSU's done a really good job this year offensively, I think, 1 through 9. And you saw what Jay did this weekend, going to the bench a couple of times and guys hitting homers off the bench and getting big base hits. And so he can grab the platoon advantage. And there's about 11 or 12 guys that he really trusts. But I just think it was an off weekend because if you look at it overall, it's still the 3rd fewest strikeouts in the SEC overall. You look at the walks, they got the 3rd most walks. So 3rd most walks, 3rd fewest strikeouts. If you look at it in its totality, it's still a really, really high offense as far as getting on base. They're 2nd in on base percentage, 2nd in average, 4th in runs scored. And then me and you talk about this. They're doing it a different way. I think I remember saying that they're not going to hit a ton of home runs this year, and they're 60 right now. So I think that's like 9th out of 16 teams. So they're not going to blow the ball out of the ballpark. So it's going to be more important for them to hit with runners in scoring position and be able to get that runner home from 3rd base, less than 2 out, either by a ground ball to the infield or a sacrifice fly. Those little things are really going to matter for LSU from an offensive standpoint.
He's Ben McDonald on Twitter at @RealBenMcDonald if you want to give him a follow. I'll come back to the offense in a second. Since you brought up Game 3 starter, we got to see Connor Ware get an opportunity to start in an SEC weekend. Ben, that's a guy that everybody raved about in fall ball and in the preseason workouts. What were your impressions of what you saw from Ware on Sunday? Or Saturday?
The stuff is always good. I think the biggest problem he's got is does he throw enough strikes, right? Because he went into that game 17 in the 3rd. He's only allowed 8 hits in 17 in the 3rd when that game began, but he had 12 walks in 17 innings. And so for me, he did a much better job. He goes 2+, only walked 1, and he only struck out 1. But I think he can be a guy that can give you a little bit of length. The question with him is he going to throw the ball over the plate enough times to be effective? It's in the tank. There's no doubt about it. It's in the tank for him to give you some length. And pitched in junior college I think he's over at Pearl River Community College the last couple of years. So he could end up being a guy, if Jay wants a left-hander in there and over Chase Shores, maybe Shores goes to the bullpen. Who knows how that shakes out? But I think there are a few options down there to be able to do that for sure. The kid that I really, really like, but I don't know if you want to totally move him, out of that bullpen where he's been really, really good is who am I thinking about? Cowan, Zach Cowan.
Yeah.
He was a guy that was he was a starter last year at Wofford and had a lot of innings. I think he's a guy that could do it too. Having said that, with Guidry being out for the year, I think that's what's, stringing, I think, Jay along a little bit. He likes Cowan at the back end of that bullpen, to go along with Evans back there. If Guidry was healthy and doing what he typically does, maybe you take Cowan, you throw him in that study spot, and you got Guidry and Evans at the back end back there. But I think he likes having those two guys back there that can give you some length and come in the seventh inning and finish the ball game, So I don't know what he's going to do yet about the third starter.
What do you do, Ben, with the platoon and right? That and DH, it continues to be this sort of revolving door. It's kind of hard to argue against Jake Brown and what he did. I'm just curious your thoughts on that situation and how you continue to handle that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's more in the tank for Jake Brown. I really do. I watch him play. There's nothing he can't do on a baseball field, And if you look at the numbers, they're pretty solid. I mean, really, 327. He's got 2 homers. Plays a really solid defense. He can run. He's a stolen base threat when he gets on. I think the DH spot is pretty sealed right now. It was a revolving door in there, and Ethan Fry finally raised his hand and says, look, I'll be your DH, and it's hard to argue. He leads the team in hitting. He's hitting 367. He's got 7 homers. He's a big guy. He can blow it out of the ballpark every now and then. And so I think that's going to be your DH against lefties and righties for now. And then you got Pearson that, that could play some right field out there. Of course, you got Jake Brown that could play some right field as well. So I think Jay's just going to kind of what he feels like is the hot hand and maybe the best matchup as far as that right field position. But I feel like Ethan Fry has cemented himself as the everyday DH right now.
I've got a couple more for you. Ben McDonald's our guest. I would love a thought on Chase Shores. And you and I did talk about Chase, what was it, maybe 6-8 weeks ago, whatever it was. And you drew a really good comparison because at 6'7", you dealt with a lot of what Chase deals with at 6'8". You talked about kind of like unwinding, being a bigger pitcher like that, how it can be hard to find a repetitive motion. So you look at Chase Shores right now, having been on the shelf for 2 years. The stuff's undeniable. He's 95 plus. The slider looks pretty good, Ben. Like, what does it take to develop some consistency, and what could that role be for him for the remainder of the season?
I think for Chase Shores, look, it's still about mound time and going out there. He's still, under 60 innings for his whole career in college. That's all the innings he's thrown because of injuries. And so in a lot of ways, look, he is still learning. He's learning that big frame of his. He's trying to be a little bit more consistent. When I watch him pitch, yeah, the fastball has high velocity. It's a sinking fastball. He throws mostly two-seamers, but I think it's a confidence thing with him, and I think it's a mechanical thing. He wants to get ahead. He just doesn't know how good he can be yet. And, again, that takes starts and mound time to go out there. Everybody says, well, he's a junior. Yeah, he is in his junior year, but still only 59 innings for his college career. So he's still learning in so many ways. He's learned that body, and he's trying to be more consistent with that big frame. And sometimes, unfortunately, when you're that tall, look, it just takes a while to be able to sync it up where you do it enough times to where it becomes where you can repeat the good mechanics. And I think that's kind of where he is because, look, he flashes it from time to time. Like, he'll go out there one inning and just totally dominate, and then he'll work from behind the next inning, and it's 2-0, it's 3-1, it's 3-0, and that's tough to pitch in this league right now, So I'm not ready to give up on him by any stretch. I think he's going to be a big, big part of this down the stretch. He's going to have to be along with the others. But look, when I look at this pitching staff, I'm pretty pleased where it's at. I mean, you talk about led the nation in strikeouts last year. They lead the SEC this year in strikeouts. They're second in the country in strikeouts. The walks have to come down a little bit. But if you look at the ERA, Matty, I went back and looked. This is the best team ERA LSU has had since 2015.
That's wild.
So, I mean, the ERA is good. I mean, you look at what they rank overall in the SEC right now. I think they're third overall, and they're second in the SEC when it comes to ERA as a team right now. So I think the defense overall has been pretty solid. Had a couple of hiccups, in Game 3 on Saturday, but they were clean in the first 2 ball games. And so I think the defense is pretty solid. I think the pitching staff is solid, and Evans at the back end has done a really, really good job in a true freshman role, back there. And I love Maverick Rizzi back there, too. He's another guy I think is going to play a big part in this. But all in all, I think it's more about the offense, cutting down the strikeouts a little bit and Jay being able to, grab the platoon advantage with a lot of guys like Larson, who came in off the bench, like Pearson, who came in off the bench with a big base hit in Game 1 to kind of get that offense kick-started as they came back from being down 5-1. But, look, overall, this team is where it needs to be. Like you said, they got 12 wins, and they got Tennessee. And the way I'm looking at this, Matty, look, if they go 5-4 against the next 3 opponents, which isn't great, but let's say you go 5-4, and then you win 2 out of 3 against South Carolina, that puts you at 19 wins, and you makes you 19-11 in conference play. I also went back and looked since there's only been one team since 2016 in the SEC that won 20 games or more that was not a top 8 national seed. That was South Carolina in 2016. Now, having said that, I really think because the conference is stronger this year, because you got more teams, you added Texas and Oklahoma, I think those numbers are going to come down. So if LSU can get to 19 wins, I think they're a top 8 national seed. They may have to go to the SEC tournament, maybe win 1 game, but if they get to 20 before the tournament, I think the goal was going to be, hey, we want to host regionals at home. We want to host supers at home. And how do we get there? Well, you get there by winning 19. I think will get you there, but 20 will definitely get you there. So it's in reach for LSU. It's going to be a tough stretch with these 3 teams coming up, but 5-4 and then 2-1 against South Carolina puts you at 19. And maybe you win 2 of those first 3 series and you're at 20 and 10, and that will definitely get you in.
He's Ben McDonald. Big one this weekend. Got Tennessee limping in after a surprising series loss against Kentucky, man. Unpredictable in this league, man. Everybody's good.
Yeah, look, it's tough, and you better bring your A game every weekend. You know, even Georgia, as good as they've been swept twice this year. They've won 4 of their 6 conference weekends, but they've been swept twice. LSU got swept, and then, of course, you saw Tennessee with a little bit of hiccup against Kentucky, who's a decent team, but look, it's the gauntlet that we thought it was going to be, and you got to show up and you got to play every weekend. That's the bottom line.
And then there's Missouri. Ben McDonald.
Well, yeah.
Ben, it's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for the time.
Anytime. Take care.
All right, be well. Ben and Tom are great on the call this weekend. If you're watching the games on TV, it's great to see those guys. All right, it is after further review. I got some thoughts on the weekend, but Ben saw it all. I wanted to see. The Chase Shores component is – I think more important than the offensive component. LSU can hit. They're going to hit. I'm not worried about that. Bad weekend. It's been a bad couple weekends. But I know these guys can hit up and down the lineup. I'm not worried about that. Not having a third starter can bite you in the postseason. If you don't develop that, you're going to need something otherworldly like Nate Ackenhausen in an elimination game giving you 6 innings against Tennessee. Awesome when it happens. We'll remember it forever. You just can't count on it. So got to develop something they can count on. They got a month to do it. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Stay here.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. As a matter of fact, yesterday I went over to my parents' house for Easter. Dad's done this past couple of years. As the family's grown and gone, dispersed a little bit, it's harder to get everybody together in one place. My dad and my uncle used to boil all of our crawfish on Easter, as many people have that tradition. Last few years now, my dad just pops over to Rouse's and lets Rouse's take care of it. Picks up some boiled crawfish from Rouse's, brings it home, have a little lunch over there with the parents. So if you want boiled crawfish, they got it at Rouse's every single day at their in-house boiling rooms. This isn't like boiled elsewhere and brought in. Every single Rouse's location has their own in-house boiling room. So your boiled crawfish, your boiled shrimp, your boiled corn and potatoes, it's all done right there on premise at Rouse's. Which Rouse's? All of them. They got 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. So you want Louisiana crawfish, you go to Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Bayou Ford is taking 15 to 20% off all new 2024 models in stock. 15 to 20% off all new 2024 Ford models on our lot. Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic, bringing you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The following local businesses have also pledged to match your donations throughout the month: Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, Action Industries, Subaru of Baton Rouge, Service Chevrolet, Luba, and Duplessis Pool Builders. Visit 1045ESPN.com to help us reach our goal, and together we can make dreams come true.
Had a good conversation earlier today with Miss Becky over at Dreams Come True. Awesome organization. Takes about $5,000 to grant one of those dreams for a child fighting life-threatening or terminal illnesses. So every $5,000 we raise, that's a dream. So anything you can give, highly encourage you to do so at 1045ESPN.com. You'll see the flipper on the main page. By the way, remember also, we are everyone that donates $25 or more to Dreams Come True through the remainder of the telethon, which isn't really a traditional telethon anymore. But we've got an autographed Justin Jefferson Vikings jersey and an autographed Justin Jefferson football, courtesy of Shep Boys, former Tiger Russell Shepard. Lined that up, donated it. So we're going to have a drawing for anybody who donates at least $25. You'll have an opportunity to win that autographed jersey or autographed football. So good luck, and of course, you're supporting a great cause. Dreams Come True of Louisiana. You can give it 1045ESPN.com. Ross Dellinger tweeted earlier today, the NCAA Board of Directors poised to vote today to eliminate 150-plus NCAA rules. Of course, that is contingent on the House settlement approval, which we're all anticipating will happen. It was supposed to happen in April. Well, April's rapidly coming to a close, so we'll see if it happens in April or sometime later. But he notes that many are longstanding restrictions related to amateurism. So the NCAA rule book is going to be thinned out a smidge. Like, for example, notably eliminating the policy prohibiting schools from compensating athletes and a rule preventing them from discussing with recruits NIL contracts, which is all anticipated ahead of revenue sharing. So the California judge has not yet ruled on the settlement, the House settlement, but as Ross notes, those familiar with the case expect the decision within a week. So that would put you by the end of April, which has kind of been the target. But, I mean, you're getting close now. I mean, it's April 21st. I mean, you got a week left in this month. So if you're going to do it by the end of April and everything go into play by this summer, July 1, June 1 or July 1, you're kind of getting on it, as we all sort of anticipate it will be. So I think we see that and go, man, they're eliminating 150 rules. Yeah. I think if anything, that just speaks to how bloated the NCAA rulebook is, that you have 150 rules all regulating the same stupid thing. That's all being wiped away with this House settlement. So good on you. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Hey, remember, y'all, we're getting close to graduation time. So graduation time is when a lot of people get that vehicle. If you're a college graduate, remember our friends over at South Point Volkswagen have a $500 graduation bonus for any college graduate. Graduating, you buy a vehicle, go to South Point, boom, $500 graduation bonus. Maybe mom, dad, you're buying a vehicle for your high school grad or for your college grad as a graduation present. Get them the wheels to start their college career or their life after college. Remember, at South Point, great thing. You get the safety and the affordability that you want. They get the style and the luxury and the performance that they want. It's awesome. Go shop Volkswagen. And remember, they're manufactured in Chattanooga, Tennessee at their plant right there. So you're supporting American jobs as well. It's the best of all worlds. And South Point Volkswagen is Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia's landed transfers Elo Madozi, Josh McCrary, and Josh Horton. Army outside linebacker Elo Madozi. That's Illinois running back Josh McCrary and Miami defensive lineman Josh Horton. They've all signed with the Bulldogs. Madozi is the number 8 player in the transfer portal rankings. Had a big breakout season this last year in Army. Now he's headed to Georgia.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Defensive tackle David Stone has withdrawn from the transfer portal. He's a former 5-star recruit. He was the number 6 player in the ESPN 300 for the class of 2024. Went in the portal on Friday. Was a bit of surprise. Talked to the Sooner staff, elected to stay there in Norman again. He was the number 2 ranked defensive lineman in his class a year ago. 6'3", 313-pounder. Played in 13 games as a true freshman.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Offensive lineman Cam Pringle has entered the transfer portal. He appeared in 1 game last fall with Carolina. His only snaps came in September, so he redshirted a season ago. Now he has 4 years of eligibility remaining. He was a 4-star prospect in the 2024 cycle, the number 18 offensive lineman in the country when he signed with Gamecocks.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Transfer outside linebacker Phillip Lee has picked Arkansas, 6'4", 240. Began his career at Troy. Now he's headed to Arkansas. It's not.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's got a commit from FAMU defensive lineman James Ash. Started his career at Wake Forest in 2020 and 2021, then went to FAMU. He was an all-SWAC selection a year ago. 6'4", 280. He's the 3rd Auburn addition via the portal this cycle.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Basketball has landed a commitment from Florida guard Denzel Aberdeen, so he's staying within the conference. Aberdeen reportedly requested $2 million to play for Florida. So they were like, kick rocks, loser. So now he's going to go to Kentucky. I guess who's going to pay him that. Or maybe he's getting the Nico treatment. Who knows? Or maybe nobody really cares because it's basketball and not football. But nonetheless, similar situation there. He was a former 3-star recruit. He was the backup point guard this past year for Florida.
The Texas Longhorns.
And Jim Schlossnagle provided an injury update on Friday night starter Jared Spencer after Texas swept Auburn this weekend. Schloss, that's some bad news about Spencer. Left game 1 with team trainers, just 2 2/3 innings. Schloss initially hoped it was arm soreness. Apparently a little more serious than that. Schloss does not think Spencer will pitch this weekend against Texas A&M. Spencer 4-1 with a 3.27 ERA. Of course, Texas, the number 1 team in America right now. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Check them out. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. My goodness, it's Relief Windows. And reliefwindows.com. Remember, you can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We were talking at the beginning of the show today about Adam Schefter's report that the New Orleans Saints apparently are eyeing an offensive or defensive lineman with the 9th pick, and they're looking to trade up in round 2 from pick 40 to potentially take their quarterback target, which is, according to Schefter, believed to be Jackson Dart. Ray Smith said on the text line, no one thought Bo Nix would go as early as he did last year or Michael Penix. That's true. I mean, there are surprises in every draft. Penix was certainly a surprise. Now, we knew by the time the draft rolled around that Sean Payton wanted Bo Nix and that he was going to go where he did. He was a late riser, and we knew that's how it went. And that's why you have to ask yourself, do you trust an organization's evaluation of a player, a talent, a position? And I can't say that I trust the New Orleans Saints' evaluation of a player, talent, and position. Like, 2017 was a great draft. Since then, I've kind of, given the Saints for a long time the benefit of the doubt because they kind of earned it after 2017. But you look at how it's gone since then. 2018 was a total disaster of a draft. Like, as much as you hit on 17, you missed 18. 18 was Davenport, Traquan Smith, Rick Leonard, Natrell Jamerson, Cameron Moore, Boston Scott, and Will Clapp. Scott and Clapp are still hanging around the NFL. Obviously, Clapp's now back with you. But those were your round 6 and 7 picks. Even when you've hit on players like C.J. Gardner-Johnson in round 4, you traded him away. Caden Ellis in round 7, you didn't re-sign him. I mean, we could go through all the players that you hit on that you didn't manifest here. Zach Bond. Zach Bond was a third-round pick. You never made it work here. He goes to Philly. He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So I just don't know that I trust the Saints' player personnel evaluation. Maybe that changes with Kellen Moore. I hope it does. But he hasn't earned the benefit of the doubt yet. So you got to prove it. Show me. Show me your evaluation is good, and you're going to get the guy you want. So if that's Jackson Dart, and by the way, what he's alluding to there is the possibility of taking Jackson Dart at 9, which I think is foolish. I can't imagine writing down Jackson Dart's name on the card at 9 and handing it to the commissioner. I mean, it's the draft. Weird things happen. I mean, the Saints notoriously traded away an entire draft for one player. I mean, it's the draft. You never know what they're thinking in that room. So, Lamar Jackson sat there and waited throughout the entire first round before Baltimore was like, yeah, we'll take him. Sure we will. So, start to learn on Thursday. Okay, y'all. It's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Oh! We have an update. We have an update on Moscona, Louisiana. If you're not familiar, I'll reset the story from last week, but I have a very positive update about Moscona, Louisiana. Next on AFR.
AFR.
Watermark and Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Hey, remember, graduation season is here. Maybe grandma's coming in town. Graduation downtown at the River Center potentially for a lot of schools, or at LSU, or at Southern. No matter where graduation is, if it's in and around downtown, stay at the Watermark. Have grandma come in, stay at the Watermark. Easy. I mean, it's walkable to the River Center. Easy little jaunt north to Southern's campus, south of downtown to LSU's campus for graduation. All the great amenities around downtown Baton Rouge, the sights to see. Watermark, so convenient. You got access through the lobby or from 3rd Street to Milford's on 3rd. That's sort of casual sandwich shop. We tell you all the time. But the fine dining there with the Gregory inside the lobby of Watermark Baton Rouge. What an awesome place. A piece of Baton Rouge's great history. The Watermark Hotel, been restored there. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the 2025 Jeep Compass Sport for only $23,995. $23,995 or 2025 Jeep Compass with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. Right, Bayou.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cube.
On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. And backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz vans.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving.
At save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Last week, you might recall that we put out a call to you to send us mail. And by us, I mean me. And specifically to my own postal address. We're having this conversation with Luch a few weeks back. So David Dellucci will be with us in hour number 3. Formed City of St. George as an at-large, council member at-large, so congrats to Luch. And so I was asking him about mail, because like technically I live in St. George, but do I put Baton Rouge or do I put St. George? What do I do in mail? And he made the point, it's like it doesn't matter what you put as long as you got your zip code. You put the North Pole on there. As long as you have the zip code, it'll get to you. And then why did we continue that last week? Do you remember?
Yeah, so we were going to send the fruit basket to John Ilg, the representative in Harahan, who had the resolution about night games in September.
That's right.
So we were looking up his address.
But why did we going to mail it to John Ilg and make people say Moscona, Louisiana?
No, I think it conversation again, so you circled back to it. It was like, you said that all you really need is a zip code. You can put whatever on there for Louisiana.
Okay. Well, lo and behold, we have our answer. So I asked you all last week to mail with a stamp. Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. That's Moscona, by the way. Today, I went downstairs to go heat up my food. Love my, eat my factor meals. So I heat up my factor meals. Went to go heat it up in the microwave. I passed by the mailboxes right there on the first floor by the elevator. How about this?
I love it.
Do you want to?
I thought you were going. Yeah.
Here you go, Paulie. Just so people can see.
Right there. There it is. Who's it there?
Moscona, Louisiana. You're going to have to talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, right. 70802, Moscona, Louisiana. That's where it is.
All right.
What, have you opened it yet?
No, it's sealed.
Are you going to open
it? So, shout out. It's my guy Butch Drews who sent it.
Love it.
So Butch, formerly of Clegg's, now retired, awesome guy. Loves him some craft beer too.
Okay.
Actually, I think Butch would always text me during Lee's segment to complain about Lee not knowing anything about beer. He's not a real beer guy, you know. Anyway, news is that Butch is a big fan of making 420 jokes about Musso.
Your day, Butch.
No, it was your day, friend.
It was not my day.
First line, Matt. After hearing about Musso's confusion about time, you should look into Decision Critical for help. He obviously got lit and woke up confused as it was 11:14 p.m. He put on his extremely dark shades. Mr. Williamson could help with this. Heading into his favorite munchie site, Waffle House, he did notice it was night and they're open 24 hours a day. He could have possibly also indulged on something he had heard on Bourbon Dictionary or from Mockler. At least he was responsible enough not to get in his Volkswagen, as he could have possibly needed Gordon. I think he heads to Clegg's to get some plants to put more
sponsor?
Not all of them, but he got a lot of them. Attaboy, Butch. Love it, man. Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. All right, Sports Center staring you straight in the face. Hour number 2 is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, I've told you forever, man, about Shawbills, their commitment to being family-owned and operated, treating you like family. And it's awesome when you get third-party validation. Earlier this year, I told you Miss Beth Barron voted Modern Tire Dealer of the Year. That is a national award among all the tire dealers in America. Miss Beth Barron at Shawbills right here in Louisiana voted Modern Tire Dealer of the Year. Like, I don't know that there could be more affirmation than that. So you need tires, the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, you go to Shawbills. They even got their lowest price guarantee. Buy tires at Shawbills, see them advertise somewhere cheaper, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. And they'll treat you like family. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After a great freshman season at Duke, Cooper Flagg will enter the NBA draft. Flagg put up 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists a game for the Blue Devils. North Carolina freshman guard Ian Jackson transfers to St. John's. He averaged 12 points a game for the Tar Heels. 2 games in the NBA playoffs tonight. Game 2 for the Pistons and Knicks. ESPN's Chris Herring says Knicks fans have low expectations for this postseason.
You can't just kind of sneer at a 50-win season or back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time since the mid-'90s. So from that standpoint, Knicks fans are still excited, but I don't think that there's a whole lot of optimism that this is a team that's going to make a long playoff run.
Chris Herring on Clinton and Friends on ESPN Radio tonight starting at 9:30 Eastern. Coverage of Game 2 for the Clippers and the Nuggets. ESPN's Pete Thamel reports UCLA quarterback Joey Aguilar will go back into the transfer portal after joining the Bruins from Appalachian State. That news on the heels of Nico Iamaleava transferring to UCLA.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up on Tuesday after 8 a.m. Eastern, Adam Schefter joins us just a few days before the NFL Draft. We'll get the latest intel from Shefty on Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Music. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Mike Triplett in 15 minutes. Talk to a different Saints reporter, writer, broadcaster all week, each day, getting some perspectives as we get closer to Thursday with the start of the draft. Our buddy Ross Dellinger, not him. Ross Dellinger doesn't have a mock draft up. He may, just not published on Yahoo or anything like that. But Ross Jackson, let's try that one. Ross Jackson. Can I get a ding? Can I get a Ross Jackson ding? Ross Jackson has a mock draft up. And he does in this draft, this mock draft, which is free up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go read it with explanation and everything. He does mock the Saints to do what has kind of been projected today by Adam, or reported on Monday by Adam Schefter, which is trade up from number 40 to get a quarterback. So he's got the Saints taking Tyler Warren, the Penn State tight end, at number 9, and then coming back into round 1 after taking Tyler Warren at number 9, coming back into round 1 at number 32 to select Jackson Dart of Ole Miss. So giving up their the 131st pick in the draft and a 2026 second-round pick along with number 40. So the Saints would get the 32nd pick and number 134 overall. So a pick swap in round 3. In round 4, and then and the 32nd overall pick. As I read how he, I'm sorry, I was just reading that how he had it there. So in any event, you want to go check that out, you can at LouisianaSports.net. It is free. All right, Mike Triplett here in about 10 minutes from right now. So LSU wrapped up spring football last Thursday, and kind of do a little bit of a recap and position group recap of spring. And probably the best place to start is the place that has the biggest question mark, not only on the offensive side, but on the entire team, and that's the offensive line. It's the position that got the single most conversation during spring, and so it's probably an appropriate time to sort of assess what we know or saw throughout spring. And I don't think I need to go into much detail about why this is the biggest question mark. You're losing 4 starters. Not only 4 starters, but 4 starters that played together for 3 years. That combined for over 170 games played, with Emory Jones and Will Campbell, who were starters from their freshman year, started every game they played in their college career. Miles Frazier, who was a 3-year starter. Same with Garrett Dellinger, who started since 2022. Infamously, the first game he started at center against Florida State, the game of the Dome, but then kicked the guard and never looked back. So you're losing all of those guys. And while you've recruited well and you added 2 transfers, and you've got guys like DJ Chester and Paul Mabenga who played a lot of football a year ago. Chester started every game at center. Mabenga started the final month in the bowl game at left guard. It's still very much a question, because when you replace 170 games played, there is no answer there. Like, it's all speculative. You got talent, both from the high school classes that you recruited and through the portal class that you brought in with Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson. Guys that have played football, but none of these guys that have played together in the spots they're in. And as if that wasn't already a big enough talking point going into spring, the fact that every time the media went out there, whatever they allowed us to see, I mean, we saw a turnstile on the offensive line the whole time we were out there. And Brian Kelly even said it. Brian Kelly said it after the spring game or spring practice, what the objective was for the offensive line in spring.
Well, I think we've made great progress in building versatility within the group. I think in one sense, we've been clear that the mandate was not to go through the spring and name 5 guys. And so if we went in with that goal, we would not be anywhere near that. But that wasn't the goal. The goal was to get guys in position where we could find out what the best fit was for them individually and for us as a unit, and then as LSU as a football team. So it's been moving guys around and finding where the right fits are. And then we'll go into camp and probably say, all right, through the first 8-9 practices will give us some time to make the decision on what that unit is, and then build continuity through the back end of preseason camp with the starting 5.
My only real question there is if that's enough time to build continuity. Right? Everything he said there makes a lot of sense. Spring is the time where you move a bunch of guys around. How did things look? You start fall camp, and you're basically going into competition battles, and you make your decision after fall camp, and then you got about 2 weeks before you play Clemson to build continuity. Is that 2 weeks enough? I don't know. We'll find out. Brian Kelly's done it a long time. Trust him. I don't know that he's had a year where he's turned over 4 offensive linemen in one season. Well, one of the guys who we've seen part of that shuffle, of course, is Paul Mabenga, who was your starting left guard at the end of last season after Garrett Dellinger went down. He comes in. He'd been running with the ones at left guard, but by the end of spring, remember Josh Thompson, the Northwestern transfer, came in, and we had originally been seeing Josh Thompson playing at right tackle. Well, the final couple of practices, and in that spring game 2 Saturdays ago, he was running a lot with the ones at left guard in place of Mabenga. And Mabenga, after the last spring practice on Thursday, talked about using so many of the different offensive line combinations throughout spring.
It's been very good being able to put in different pieces and see how it works out. And one thing I'll take pride in is nobody had ill intention towards nobody. And that's something that as an O-line, we take pride in. Those guys that came in, we embrace them like they're one of our own. And it's been great being able to just seeing different things, seeing different people do their things, and that's something I've been very proud about.
I think the big part of that answer is him saying there's no ill intentions about guys trying to take a spot. Like, they're all working together. And you understand if someone's got to go in, you go. Like, you can have fierce competition, but still have respect and love for your brothers. And one of the things that whenever I think about this unit, that maybe I can draw the closest parallel is 2011. And 2011 was, up until that point, the best team in LSU history. It ended ingloriously, as we all know, and 2019 ended up becoming the greatest team in college football history. But at that point, 2011 was the best team in LSU history. And you had on that team 10 offensive linemen that at some point had started SEC games in their career. You had your first 9, and then Lyle Collins, who was a 5-star true freshman, was your 10th. That was the deepest, most talented offensive line, that most experienced offensive line that I'd ever seen LSU had. Naturally, they were dominant. I mean, they ran all over everybody until the last game, as we know. But in any event, but it worked. You know what I mean? T-Bob was a part of that. He could play center. He could play two guard spots. Will Blackwell had an All-America season that year. You know, you had Saron Black and Greg Shaw was a guy who was a backup on that team, who was a starting caliber tackle, but was a backup on that team and did start games. So, you know, you had Hurst on that team starting at right tackle. I mean, it was a really good, deep unit. And they did rotate a lot. And it worked. So it is possible. So Mabenga talked about the biggest improvement that they've made in spring.
Our physicality and technique, that was one of the main points throughout the spring. Just being able to run off the ball, being able to move the line of scrimmage, that's something we've definitely take pride in, and I think we did a great job of. And Coach told us at the end of practice today that we've done just that, and it's about being consistent now, applying ourselves, whatever it might be, meeting about it, walking through about it. That's a mindset, and that's something we're going to continue to do.
The really interesting thing about this unit, it would appear to me anyway, after watching these 15 practices, is that the two incumbents, so to speak, Chester and Mabenga, are actually the two guys most likely not to be back in their spot, which is odd to say, right? Because, I mean, you're turning over 4 starters, but Mabenga started for the final month and Chester started every game at center. And you would think, okay, that's a good place to start with those guys in their spots. But it actually may come to pass that those guys don't hold their spots. And you brought Braylon Moore in to be the starting center. And Josh Thompson may very well end up being the starting left guard. Your tackles right now, with Weston Davis at right tackle and Tyree Adams at left tackle, appear to be the 2 spots that are solidified. And I think DJ Chester is going to end up being your right guard. I think. That's just, that is a way too early. If they can put out way too early top 25s and way too early mock drafts, that's my way too early offensive line projection for you. And that's, of course, subject to change. But Chester also, during this spring, talked about the continuity that they sort of were trying to develop here within this offensive line.
I do, because one, we're a very tight group. Like, we do stuff. We all love each other. We all trying to play for each other. And I feel like the ball game helped us. So we just didn't come out in the spring like, oh, we haven't really played with each other. The 15 ball practices helped a lot because we got to know how each other plays, how certain stuff that they like, certain stuff they don't like.
Does Chester hold at center, or does Braylon Moore win that job? Again, if I had to guess today, I would tell you when they go out against Clemson, left to right, it's going to be Tyree Adams, Josh Thompson, Braylon Moore, DJ Chester at right guard, and Weston Davis at right tackle. That's what I think will be that first offensive line. But I think all these guys we're talking about are going to play and going to have a role. We've seen it before. So how do you build continuity? You still got time, but fascinating to watch that position battle continue to go, because it's not like receiver where it's a different challenge, where Joe Sloan's got to find a way to get all these guys reps and targets and touches. The offensive line, you got to establish continuity. And that means these guys, you have to pick your 5 and have them go play together. But then how do you also develop depth? Big part of this spring And it's going to be a giant part, maybe the central point, focus of fall camp when the Tigers get out there at the beginning of August. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, Mother's Day is right around the corner. Or ladies, Mother's Day is right around the corner. They got plenty of gifts for mom, either your mom or, guys, the mother of your children. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. And we're almost to graduation season. So if you need a gift for that grad, Lee Michaels can help. 9 locations in all. Corporate Boulevard, in Bocage and Baton Rouge, also in the Mall of Louisiana, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and you can always shop them online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com. There's something gorgeous and affordable for everyone at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break. At the bottom of this hour, by the way, for longtime LSU commitment Bryce Underwood participated in the Michigan spring game this past weekend. See how that went? You may take some joy in this. Maybe. Get to that in about 15 minutes. Mike Triplett coming back after the break on AFR.
AFR.
Oh, we had a great time on Easter. Enjoying our outdoor kitchen. Had some family over. You want to enjoy the same? Duplessis Builders can make it happen. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net. I love one of the testimonials that we heard from a Duplessis Builders customer. It was the best compliment it could pay. So they were going to build a pool, outdoor kitchen, their whole deal outside, and they interviewed 5 different pool companies. And said Duplessis Builders' base model was everybody else's premium project. So what are you getting? That's why I love to stress Derek is a mechanical engineer by trade with a minor in aerospace engineering, by the way. That's the guy building your pool. He refuses to cut corners. That's why Duplessis Builders offers a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1. How about this? Ask the other pool companies why they don't offer a 10-year warranty. DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Maybe got that tax refund check, reinvest it into your home. Energy efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. Reduce your energy bills, increase your home's resale value. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Mike Triplett, New Orleans.football. Good enough to join us here as we open up draft week. Mike, how are you, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Always our pleasure. So, Saints are trading up to get Jackson Dart, right? That's the story?
Trading up, yeah, they're going to take him one ahead of Cam Ward.
What do you think about what there was a report on here on Monday that Saints are maybe not looking quarterback at 9, but then looking to come up from 40 to take what presumably would be Jackson Dart?
Well, not necessarily Jackson Dart. I think Tyler Shuck is in that conversation as well, and it makes sense to me. We've been hearing and reporting all along that the stars never seem to line at 9. Not for Shedeur Sanders, not for Dart or Shuck either that high, as much as it seems so obvious Saints need a quarterback and everyone needs a spot to put the number 2 quarterback in this draft. I think that's kind of how the whole league feels. I mean, the reporting we've heard on the Saints has matched a lot of the reporting we've heard league-wide, which is just that these guys might not be worth it at 9, but then there might be a mad scramble to beat the Browns to them at 33, or even the Browns have to move up or the Saints have to move up. So this one is really, really hard to peg, but that makes a lot more sense than forcing a pick at 9 itself.
Do you have a feeling on Dart or Shuck which one you think might have a better upside as a pro?
Yeah, if I have to make a prediction based on everything I heard, I'm leaning Shuck. But I don't have enough conviction on that to say take all your money to the bank, because obviously you're wading through good information and sometimes people trying to keep their information close to the vest at this time. I don't remember a soul talking about the Falcons and Michael Penix last year. So It's always possible that someone's keeping a super, super secret out there.
You love the draft. Hey, whose decision is it, Mike, that's going to write the name down on the card?
It's ultimately Mickey Loomis's decision if it comes to that. But, I mean, he tries to create a culture of, hey, I hired Jeff Ireland to be really good at this. I hired, obviously, formerly Sean Payton, and then Dennis Allen and Kellen Moore, which is probably a sliding scale of their authority on all of these. But the way he runs it is he wants them to reach a consensus. He wants, the top scouts in the room and the coaches who are going to coach the players to all be like, so this is where we have this guy and we have this guy ranked ahead of that guy. And that's how they want the decisions made. They don't want it to be, the Sneetches standing off in the old Dr. Seuss book.
The last time you and I talked, you mentioned some of the positions that you'd prefer to take at 9 because of the value.
Did I list all of them at the time? If I left one out, then I was wrong.
No. It was but the idea, and it was a good one, was to say certain positions you'd want to take at 9 because the value of that position at even in round 2 isn't the same. Edge rusher, for example, cornerback is something you often see. So, and I think it's very smart. It sounds like maybe the Saints think offensive or defensive line at 9, which, okay, they draft offensive defensive line a lot. But considering they've invested so much draft capital there, do you think if that's the route they go, it's worth going back to the well on the line of scrimmage again?
Absolutely. And that point that I was making was, okay, you can throw Peyton Turner out there, you can throw Trevor Penning out there, you can even throw Marcus Davenport out there. But it's been 17 years since they picked this high. And so you don't say, hey, you missed on Peyton Turner, so you don't take the number 2 edge rusher in this draft, or, you missed on Trevor Penning, so you don't take maybe the number 1 or 2 left tackle in this draft. So, those positions are still as important as they ever were, and the Saints still don't have long-term answers at those positions. So you don't let previous misses change the reality of when you're picking this high, you want cornerstones, and those are cornerstone positions. My only qualification on that is I am not 100% sure there's a surefire left tackle or a surefire defensive end to pick there. If I did think that, then that would absolutely be what I'm pounding the table for.
He's on Twitter at mytriplet@neworleans.football. We know that it's just this organization's approach that they move up, they don't move down.
Yeah.
Could you see a scenario where they actually did move back?
I hope so. That's what I would do. But look, I have qualified this every time I said it. You don't decide to move up or decide to move down for its own sake. I mean, if you're sitting there at 9 and you have your number 5 player on the board available, and he's the only magnet left in a tier, you take him. You only trade down if you the draft analysts can tell us, oh, the guys at 10 are the same as the guys at 25. They can tell us that. But if the Saints, if they have 6 guys all with the same grade, then you trade down. If you have one guy way above everyone else, then you don't trade down. So I'd have to see their board to say it. But, boy, it sure does feel like, A, a year where everyone agrees that the value is pretty similar from 10 to 20 to 25, and B, that the Saints need more picks more than they've ever needed before. Their MO over the last 25 years has been that of a winning team for the better part of or 15 years, not 25 years, 15 years. They were a winning team for most of that stretch. So they should treat things differently now than they have before.
But did they view themselves? That's the question. They view themselves as a contender.
Yeah. I think they're sort of cautiously acting like a contender. I mean, in the end, what they did in free agency the last couple of years, there haven't been spending sprees. There haven't been trading future first-round picks. For the last few years, they've said let's keep winning. We don't ever want to stop trying to win, but they haven't mortgaged the future to do it in a while. So they are not going to trade down because they are just all out. They're not going to be like, we're tanking this year, we're taking this year off. They're certainly not going to do that. But I think they have to recognize the value of needing to replenish young talent at pretty much every position group on the roster.
The last time they selected 9 players in a single draft was in 2015.
This is kind of similar to that year, to be honest.
Elaborate.
Well, I mean, that was a bit of a rebuilding year. That was the year they traded away Jimmy Graham, traded away Ben Grubbs, traded away Kenny Stills, acquired some picks, ended up with 2 first-round picks. Was it 9 or 10 picks they made that year?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 9. And they recognize the need. So they've shown that they understand the need to. There have been a lot of 5-person draft classes, but that was a year where they recognized a bare cupboard, and that lets me know. And that was Jeff Ireland's first year on the job too. He was a little bit advisory and not completely running the draft that year, but his influence was definitely felt. But that was the last year where the Saints acknowledged that they needed to rebuild the young talent base, and I absolutely think they should feel that same way this year.
And they also whiffed on that entire draft, essentially.
Well,
that was Andrus Peat, Stephon Anthony, Haoli Kikaha, Garrett Grayson, P.J. Williams, Davis Tull, Tyler Davison, Damian Swan, Marcus Murphy.
Aye.
Right?
Caramba. Yeah. Look, we can debate all day. Should they rebuild? Should they tank? Should they trade down? Should they trade up? If you don't hit on draft picks, none of that works.
Sure.
And that has been the biggest problem with this team since 2018.
Do they have enough roster space and money if they select 9 players that make the team?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
For sure. The money actually, once you get to about the 3rd round pick, since the salary cap only counts the top 51 salaries at any given time, once you get past the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounders, the 4th rounders are making the same money as the guy. This year's draft, if they make all their current picks, it only adds about $5 million to their cap. They have plenty of room for it, and roster space, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, will the whole 9-member draft class make the team? Probably not. I mean, I'd say they have a 6th rounder and 2 7th rounders. I'd say those 3 guys aren't all making the team. If they pick up another 6th along the way, those guys don't necessarily all make the team. But the help wanted sign is out on this team right now.
Mike, is Derek Carr taking his last snap for the Saints?
man, nobody has come out and tried to say we're wrong for speculating that. There's been some secrecy around it. It's been really hard to get concrete information on that, on why it's gotten so bitter, on if the injury is absolutely the next step and they wanted to be released or traded, and now all of a sudden they want to take the year off to recover from an injury. Could be some coincidence in there, but no one is out here selling, no, this is 100% an injury. Don't get it wrong. He'd love to be there. Frankly, if he is considering a possible surgery, the Derek Carr we've gotten to know over the last couple of years, you would think he would still have shown up on the first day of the conditioning program. A year ago, he was organizing the rally, the big church event with Demario Davis, trying to become more of a community leader. He has very clearly distanced himself from this team this year, and so I think it's going to be hard to recover from that.
Mm. And contractually,
yeah,
I don't see a way that he's here in 2026. So really, it's a question. Unless if you disagree, please tell me. I don't see that now. That'd be pretty shocking. But yeah. So if has a shoulder surgery and is done this year, then even if he's still on the roster this year, he's taking his last snap for the Saints.
I mean, that's probably the betting favorite right now.
Yeah.
It really is probably the betting favorite, unless there are conversations that can be had to the medical conversation that he decides, it's better than he thought and he wants to play this year, unless, there's contract stipulations to get him to play, contract stipulations to release him. Like, I'm really curious what the resolution is going to be. But as of now, it sure feels like it's going to be hard to see him coming. I mean, him being away for the start of the program felt like, it felt symbolic. It sure did.
At Mike Triplet is where you can get him on X, NewOrleans.football. Great time to go find his work over there with the draft later this week. What feels like it'll be a transformative draft for the New Orleans Saints. We appreciate it, Mike. Thanks as always for the time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Be well. It's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break on AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. Those temps are creeping up. It's raining a little bit right now. But you were outside yesterday. Temps in the mid-80s. Not too much humidity yet, but boy, it's getting hotter. Make sure you call River City's 1 Hour Air. Get your preseason AC tune-up. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. They're all over town. You can't miss them. I practice what I preach. Been a part of their service membership club for 15 years now. It's worth it. It's a low monthly membership fee. Part of that includes complimentary seasonal maintenance, which pays for the membership club for the year. You get front-of-the-line service, membership club pricing. Call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Did well. Did well, made some really good throws and had some things that we got to clean up and get better at, but he's a continued work in progress and he's working his tail off to do it.
How much are we going to focus on Bryce Underwood's Michigan career? Honest question. I do this show every day, not for me. I do it for you, and I've done it for 15 years. And so I feel like I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of what you care about. And my guess is there's a little bit of scorned lover pettiness that is going to be watching with one eye on Ann Arbor, waiting for every Bryce Underwood interception and L to revel in it a little bit. All right on that. I think that's probably where a lot of you fall. Not that you're necessarily cheering against a young person, but like you're cheering against a young person and really hoping that the rich guy that stroked a $12 million check to pull him away from you in the 11th hour feels like he just set a match to $12 million. Or maybe it goes so badly that after 1 year, Bryce Underwood transfers out of Michigan and goes like Boise State or something. Remember Malachi Nelson? 5-star, went to USC, was there for a year. Where did he go? Then he go to Boise and UNLV. He's gone to like 3 schools in 3 years. You looking it up? Yeah. See where he went. Where's he now?
So USC, then to Boise. Now he's at UTEP.
UTEP.
The Miners.
There you go. That was a 5-star.
Yeah. Huge get for the Miners.
Allegedly.
Yeah. We'll see.
So Bryce Underwood went out there, recovered a fumble, his own fumble, had a pair of delay of game penalties, had some errant throws. You can go see video of it on Twitter video and stuff like that. Lost 12 yards on a couple of sacks. Now, I also understand this is a guy who's in spring of his freshman year. 4 months ago, he was still in high school. Should still be finishing the spring semester of his high school career. And now he's dressing out in the Michigan spring game and playing. So, long way to go and all that stuff. But Underwood is expected now to be the starter. He's competing with sophomore Jaden Davis and Fresno State transfer Mikey Keene. They open up at home, by the way, against Fresno State. So Keene, if he wins the starting job, could end up playing against his former team. But Sharon Moore said it's a battle. It's going to go all the way to fall camp. See who ultimately is going to be the starter. Although the consensus feeling in Ann Arbor is that Bryce Underwood is going to win the job. By the way, Jay Underwood, Bryce's dad, told the Wall Street Journal that his son's expected to make more than $15 million at Michigan. But they haven't guaranteed him the opportunity to start his first game there. J.D. Piquel from On 3 was watching the Michigan spring game. Talked about Bryce Underwood's day that he had on Saturday.
A lot of people that weren't actually at the game are going to see the box score and see that Bryce Underwood was less than 50% on completing his passes. And they say, oh, that's the guy you pay double-digit $1 million for? Okay, well, best of luck. Stats don't tell the whole story. Never have, never do, never will. Yes, he was less than 50%, but I was told that he had a couple of throws that were, 1, dropped. 2, they did not give Bryce Underwood the introductory package when it came to running the Michigan offense. There was no, oh, Bryce, we're going to go ahead and just cruise this thing through the neighborhood. We'll go 20, 25 through the school zone. It was like, you got a special cannon for that right arm. We're going to try to use this thing a little bit here.
They also ran a reverse flea flicker on the last play and went for 88 yards in a score. I mean, I guess you can dial that thing up in the spring game. There's no TV, right? But everyone in the stands has a camera. That reminds. So like, we were at thought about this. So we're at the LSU spring game, spring practice, whatever. And LSU ran a goal line period, and they told us cameras down, right? No cameras, and also told us we couldn't. And by the way, I'm very grateful for the access, so I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out a circumstance here. They told us we couldn't tweet during the practice, right? So like, it's customary when they give us media availability, we can't tweet or put out reports or any of that stuff until practice is over and Brian Kelly comes for media availability. Then you can start to report. You can't do it from the practice field. I don't know why, but whatever. Okay, that's a rule. I'm good. I'll play by the rule. They have a reason. It's perfectly reasonable. But at the spring game, they told us we couldn't like tweet during the spring game. But I'm like, but look at all the people in the stands who are watching, and they all have phones, and they have Twitter, and they have like, you can go tell all them they can't. I mean, whatever. So anyway, this is the point. Like, so Brian Kelly, said no cameras during the goal line period when they ran the trick play with Juwan Johnson. And understandably, he didn't want it out there. But then I'm thinking the same thing here. You get somebody in the stands who got that on video. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the Bryce Underwood thing. I think a lot of you are going to say, I don't care about Bryce Underwood. Good riddance. Never think of him again. But it really, I think, is going to be sort of a lover scorn type thing. The best part about Bryce Underwood going to Michigan is he's not in the SEC. Like, there's been so many situations where you missed out on the guy you wanted, but he ended up at Bama, or he ended up at A&M, or you ended up somewhere where you had to play him. And that sucks. Like watching Devontae Smith win a Heisman at Alabama sucks because he did it in your division. This kid from Louisiana who went there. You know what I mean? I think we'll all be keeping an eye on Underwood. Not a great spring game for Bryce Underwood. We'll see. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Hour 1, we had Ben McDonald here with us. Of course, Ben McDonald was the first pick of the 1989 MLB draft. And Ben McDonald, when he bought his hunting property in Mississippi, his first call was to First South Farm Credit. So if you're buying land in Louisiana or Mississippi or Texas or Alabama or Georgia or Iowa or Idaho or Indiana or anywhere in the lower 48, First South Farm Credit can help. As Terrio often says, land's a great investment because they ain't making more of it. So buy that dirt. If you want to buy land, First South Farm Credit can help because since 1916, they've done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. So you want to buy that acreage to build your family's dream home? You can do it. You want 120 acres for your hunting property in Texas? First South Farm Credit can help. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. One other thing that happened this weekend in college football, we got a lot to get to still, y'all. David Dellucci will be here in about 17 minutes. We'll recap a little SEC baseball from the weekend. Tons of Saints draft news, notes that are floating out there, tidbits. I do want to talk about the LSU defensive line coming out of spring. We did the offensive line earlier this hour. But I'm not sure if y'all saw it, but Colorado retired Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's jerseys at their spring game. And so naturally, people are melting over that whole thing. These guys just finished their careers and they're already getting their jerseys retired. I can understand, but I changed my opinion on this years ago. In 2005, I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and Louisville, their football stadium is open to the public. Like, at least it was then. Like, anybody could just walk in and walk around or whatever. And I remember going in there, and I remember looking up at the facade of the stadium, and they've got all these honored jerseys, right? And it was so interesting because I'm looking at the list, and you wouldn't think of Louisville as this dominant football program, like this historical football program. What stunned me is Louisville has now 28 retired jerseys. Yeah, right? 28. Like, some of them you know. Now, at the time, Lamar Jackson hadn't played there, okay? But he has now, and that makes a lot of sense. Guy won the Heisman. He's great. Here's the list. Lamar Jackson, Johnny Unitas, Bruce Armstrong, Deion Branch, Brian Braum, Jeff Braum, Ray Buchanan, Doug Buffone, Michael Bush, Elvis Dumerville, Anthony Floyd, Ernest Givens, Ernie Green, Tom Jackson, Joe Jacoby, Lenny Lyles, Otto Knopp, Stephon LaForce, Baton Rouge shout-out, Sam Madison, Tyrus McLeod, Frank Minifield, Roman Oben, Dave Ragone, Chris Redmond, Howard Stevens, Ted Washington, Dwayne White, Otis Wilson, Dwayne Woodruff. How many of those names you knew?
Maybe 10 to 12 out of the 28.
Lamar Jackson, Johnny Unitas, Deion Branch, Brian Braum, Jeff Braum, Ray Buchanan. At least I know these names. Elvis Dumerville, Tom Jackson.
Obviously.
Stephon LaForce, Sam Madison.
Yeah, more than 10.
Dave Ragone, Chris Redmond, Ted Washington. That's 13 of the 20. But, when you get to the territory where you don't even know these people's names, you're like, okay, are we getting a little aggressive? And the point I came to was, who cares? It's their football history. I don't care who they honor. I don't care if they retire everybody's jersey. It's what's in context there. So, for a long time, LSU only honored Billy Cannon. And he's still the only number that's retired, 20. But I like in recent years that LSU has begun to honor more of its history. I like that Jerry Stovall, who was a Heisman runner-up and was a coach here, that he's honored. Tommy Casanova, the only 3-time All-American. I like that he's honored. I've said for years, Kevin Falks 3, Glenn Dorsey 72 should already be up there. And so should Joe Burrow 9 and Jaden Daniels 5. Those should already be done. The fact that they're not, I think is kind of silly. Now, I know there's a waiting period, by the way. It's 5 years from the end of your career, but I think it should have been waived for Joe Burrow. But you're at 5 now anyway, so it should be. But in any event, if Colorado wants to honor Shadur and Travis Hunter, okay, who cares? It's their program. It's their history. Colorado's football history isn't LSU's or Southern Cal's or Georgia's or Notre Dame's. It's just Colorado's. Do you? Okay. Have 28 retired numbers like Louisville. It does feel like it kind of devalues it a smidge.
That's what I was going to say. I mean? Is it even special? I get it. It's your program, but golly.
They have 6 number 6s out there. So just out of numbers. All right, it's after further review. Let's now get a quick break. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up the hour next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com. Tell you what, when you woke up this morning, were you a little sluggish? Probably ate some crawfish, drank some beer. You had that salt, all that just kind of sitting on you, a little heavy, a little harder to get going in the morning. Just rolling through the day, a little lethargic, maybe taking a nap at your desk. Sound familiar? Yeah. Wasn't like that when you were 20, was it? You want to feel that way again? You can. Hormone replacement therapy is safe. It's affordable. It's available at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. No contracts, lowest prices. Learn more. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. And it's not just HRT. Yes, they have ED treatments as well. They've got other things like anti-aging treatments, like NAD+ treatments. They've got BPC 157, other peptides to help with things like recovery. Live your fullest life. yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford is taking 15 to 20% off all new 2024 models in stock. 15 to 20% off all new 2024 Ford models on our lot. Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life, so why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the 2025 Jeep Compass Sport for only $23,995. $23,995 or 2025 Jeep Compass with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
Further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Big shout out, as always, to Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Muso Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
A really good weekend for the former Tigers in the pros. So much so that I don't even really know quite where to start. Let's start with Dylan Cruz, because he'd been going through it, and boy, did he break out of it in a big way in 3 games over there in Colorado. I get it, the altitude and whatnot, but whatever. He needed something good to happen, and it did. He hit 460-plus in 3 games against the Rockies. 2 homers and a double as well. Made a number of fantastic defensive plays. How about this? In the Saturday game, both of his home runs came off a former Tennessee Vol, Chase Dollander.
Love that.
How about that? So they obviously face each other in college.
Foreshadowing.
There you go. So hats off to Cruz. I think it was 464 when I added it up earlier. So now he's up to 186 on the season.
This says on that his last 7 games, he slashed 296, 321, 556 with 2 homers, 4 RBI, a walk, and 1 strikeout.
Yeah,
pretty good.
That's more like it, right? The Pittsburgh Pirates, they're the worst. Paul Skeens a tough luck loser.
Yeah.
7 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, got the loss because his team scored a fat 0. A goose egg against Cleveland, who's not even good either. One guy did take him into the Allegheny River, though, which was impressive.
Did you see the line to get in the stadium?
Oh, for Skeen's bobblehead day? I did. It was all the way across the river. Down the bridge, across the river. It was insane.
Check out this time-lapse video. Pull it up, follow this time-lapse video.
Hey, bro.
That's crazy.
That's everyone who attended the game. Like, that's the entire stadium.
They're all in line to get a bobblehead.
And his team didn't score any runs.
There's 30,000 people in line to get a bobblehead.
Makes me angry.
Oh, man.
Josh Smith had a 3 for 4 day. That was Sunday, 3 for 4. He's hitting 378. I mean, my goodness. Guy took the All-Star snub personally. Ingrid Lindblad. Shout out to Ingrid Lindblad, former LSU women's golfer, obviously. Made her third start on the LPGA Tour this past weekend at the LA Championship. Won it. 21 under par, 277 over 72 holes.
How about that?
Really, I mean, 25 years old, start number 3, already got the first LPGA Tour win, dude. That's strong. That's strong. Naz Reid made 6 threes on Saturday, scored 23 points. He was the second leading scorer for the Timberwolves.
Should have stayed, would have been 7 threes.
That's probably true. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. God, we just had a dump of rain this morning at the house. I don't know if that happened to anybody else, but it's just the skies open for 30 minutes and just anyway, have water intrusion, think you might. Have mold, think you might. Odor. Maybe you got sick people in your home, your office building. Let Parish Restoration come by. Spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Will kill mold, other harmful toxins, dozens of harmful pathogens. parishrestoration.com. Go to parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. That's parishrestoration.com. Okay, y'all, SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. David Dellucci, SEC Network, is next.
After further review.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Duke freshman Cooper Flagg, the consensus National Player of the Year, makes it official today. He will enter the NBA draft after helping the Blue Devils reach the Final Four. The Knicks and Pistons play Game 2 of their first-round series tonight. The Knicks held serve in Game 1. Also, the Nuggets and Clippers in Game 2, with coverage of that one on ESPN Radio at 9:30 Eastern. Denver took Game 1 in that series. The NFL Draft now 3 days away, and ESPN's Dan Orlovsky agrees that this year's quarterback class is not like last year's.
I don't feel any way about anyone in this class that I do about Jaden Daniels, like I did last year. I don't think Cam Ward is that far off, but Cam's also 6'2", so I can understand that.
Dan Orlovsky on Unsportsmanlike. Eagles center Cam Jurgens gets a contract extension with the Super Bowl champs. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports it's a 4-year deal worth $68 million, $39 million guaranteed.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Another SEC baseball weekend in the books. David Dellucci, SEC Network, joins us to recap all of it. Luch, thanks as always, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Luch, before we go any further, we do have finality on the convo we had several weeks back about the zip code. Do you actually have to have a city? And I encouraged our audience to send me mail to Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. Here at Guarantee, 929 Government Street, Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. Here to report, Luch.
Tell me you got some.
Got my first letter today from our guy Butch Drews. Matt Moscona, care of Guarantee Media, 929 Government Street, Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. How you like it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Got my own postal code, Luch. How you like that?
That is amazing.
I know.
That's why you're the best, and you deserve it.
I deserve
you
my own
to have your own postal code.
I'd like a resolution introduced in the city of St. George that I get my own postal code. Luch, can you make that happen?
While we're doing it, let's just go for a holiday as well, Matt Moscona holiday.
I'm not being greedy here.
No, let's go all the way. Go big or go home, baby.
I think my own postal code is plenty big enough, Luch. But if you want to give me a holiday, we could do that as well. Hey, let's look. Let me start with what I think is probably I don't know, man. There's probably a half dozen storylines this weekend in the league that were all massive. How did Tennessee lose at home to Kentucky?
Look, Kentucky's sneaky good, man. And the last probably 4 or 5 years, we've seen Nick Mangione put together teams that play fundamental baseball. Things like sack bunts, stolen bases, squeeze bunts. I know that sounds like an oddity in today's game, but that's how Kentucky plays, and that's how Kentucky made it to the College World Series last year, and they did it again this weekend. And, they're really the first team to push Tennessee on the base pass. I mean, Tennessee is willing to give up stolen bases in order to let their power arms kind of light up the radar guns. And in Game 2, Kentucky, I think they were 10 out of 11 in stolen bases. And in Game 3, I think they stole 6 bases. So they were terrors on the base pass. They bunted, they squeezed, they did everything they needed to do. And they're a bunch of grinders, man, year in and year out. And they outlasted Tennessee, and they kind of punctured that armor where everybody's looking at Tennessee now going, this is a team. A&M beat them in both games of a doubleheader. Kentucky won 2 out of 3, so maybe Tennessee can be beaten.
Yeah, Luch, you gave me the Kentucky perspective, which I respect. The dramatically more interesting thing is not how Kentucky won. It's Tennessee losing, right? So is Tennessee not what many have projected them to be? Are we at a point where we can say that this is far from a team that mirrors the one that won the College World Series a year ago, or that was the most dominant team any of us ever saw, 2 years ago that didn't even make it, or 3 years ago that didn't even make it to Omaha?
Yeah, that team, I remember very vividly. That team was like leading the country in lowest ERA, leading the country in batting average, leading the country in home. Like, they did everything good. This is not that team, but this is still a very, very good team. Third in the SEC in batting average, second in lowest ERA. Like, they're legit. They're just playing in a conference now that has a bunch of other legit teams, and Kentucky being one of them. We have to quit thinking of Kentucky as a team from 9-10 years ago. This is a different Kentucky team, a Kentucky team that is expected to go into the postseason, a Kentucky team that, quite frankly, after last year is expected to go to the College World Series now. So they're much better than we give them credit for. But, yeah, I mean, you can make a case that Tennessee is not the team of the past, but they are a team good enough to win the College World Series this year if they get on a heater. They've got all the talent and all the arms that they had last year. I would not sleep on Tennessee.
Okay. LSU and Tennessee this weekend at the Box, going to be massive. How did Vanderbilt sweep Georgia? Like, this weekend was bonkers. How did Vandy sweep Georgia?
Well, Vandy swept Georgia. They gave Georgia a dose of their own medicine. I think in game 2 they hit 4 home runs. Like, they were slugging the ball all over the place, which is un-Vandy-like. And their pitchers threw really well. The thing that Vanderbilt did, well, 2 things. Rylan Zaborowski, Georgia's big slugger that replaced Charlie Kahn, and he's leading the SEC in .389 batting average, second in home runs with 16. Like, he's legit. 6'5", 250 pounds. He missed the whole series. So you're starting to see how important he is in that Georgia lineup to help that group who's leading the nation in home runs with, I think, 103 right now. They missed him big time. But Vanderbilt pounded the strike zone, and they did not let guys get on base. They did not walk guys, and they made Georgia earn everything they had. And it was almost like Georgia is just used to, getting in 2-0 counts, 3-1 counts, and trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That wasn't the case. It was a whole bunch of 0-2, 1-2 counts, and then the Vanderbilt bullpen was lights out. They're about as deep as anybody in the SEC when it comes to bullpen. So they just beat them with good pitching, and all of a sudden Vanderbilt's slugging the ball out of the ballpark.
David Dellucci's with us. When Texas A&M went to Knoxville and won that series, you and I had the conversation, like, was this a one-off or have they found it? I think it's safe to say they found it. They went up to Fayetteville and took a series against Arkansas. So let's talk about the Aggies and the 10,000-foot view now that they're 8-10 in league play with 12 league games to go.
Scary, man. Scary. Now all of a sudden you say, now we see why they were ranked preseason number 1 in the nation. Like, they're really good. Pitchers have been pitching well. Hitters have been horrendous. All of a sudden, the hitting has turned around, led by Jace Laviolette. This week, he was 7 for 17 with 5 home runs and 11 ribbies. That's pretty decent. Caden Kent, still hot. Cam Sorrell, they now have him back from injuries in the outfield, so they've shuffled the lineup the way that they feel most comfortable with. And over the last 8 games, they have a team batting average of .304, 25 home runs, and scored 112 runs. I think that plays pretty good with anybody in the country, especially Arkansas, who at the time was, ranked top in the nation again. The pitching staff was good. Arkansas was slugging the ball out of the ballpark, but they just faced a team that's hotter and more confident, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon for A&M. I mean, look, this is a humongous weekend with A&M and Texas clashing. Unfortunately, it's in Austin instead of College Station, but still all the eyes of Texas and the country are going to be watching this matchup because it's going to tell you a lot between the number one team in the nation and the preseason number one team in the nation.
By the way, it looks like Jared Spencer's not going to pitch this weekend for Texas because of that injury, which, I mean, Luch,
that's huge, man.
That probably
huge.
Tilts this series to A&M, yeah?
It does tilt the series to A&M. The knock on Texas would be they don't have a deep rotation. Matter of fact, I was looking through the stats in prep for the Rally Cap show yesterday. Texas's bullpen only has 4 guys that have double-digit appearances, okay? So they rely heavily on 4 guys. And compared to LSU, I think LSU's got 10 guys, 11 guys in their bullpen that have double-digit appearances. So you talk about playing matchups. You talk about when you put a guy in there, you need him to throw 4 or 5 innings. That's huge for this team. If they miss their number one, their ace, Jared Spencer, if they miss him for a considerable amount of time, that's going to be tough. The Longhorn team can hit right now, but not good enough to make up for missing Spencer.
Luch, Tigers take 2 out of 3 at home against Alabama. Sometimes we're all prisoners of the moment. It's easy to look at the one you didn't get instead of the 2 that you did. If you would, just a thought on where LSU is right now coming off this weekend where they took 2 out of 3, and they're pacing right now through 5 or 6 weekends now at 12 league wins.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're really good, and it's hard to appreciate how good they are when you have 2 teams ahead of them in the standings, right? Like that's what everybody looks at. Why is LSU not leading the SEC? And they're still very, very good. Do not let the record take anything away from what they've done. Alabama's a decent team. Their offense has cooled off quite a bit over the last week or so, but LSU is just handling business, and they're quietly sitting on the side going, okay, we have everything we need to make a run. On top of that, Jay Johnson is pushing all the right buttons at all the right times. I mean, 2 things that stood out to me, and one was the pinch hit home run by, I think it was Ashton Larson that kick-started that comeback. What was that, in game 2?
Game
maybe?
one.
Game
yeah,
one.
Game
one. I mean, that's amazing. That is the most difficult role in baseball, is to come off the bench and perform. And I think he did it first pitch home run, right? And then in game 3, I think it was game 3, another pinch hit home run, Jake Brown. So
Jake Brown.
He's got so many weapons that he can use at any part of the ball game. LSU is just, they're deep on both sides. The pitching staff's still doing great. Ianson looked really good. So I'm not even looking at LSU's record right now because I just think as long as they stay healthy and as long as they stay consistent, they're going to make a deep run. I've told everybody before I picked them to be in the College World Series finals, and I think there's no reason to not think that they're going to do that.
David Dellucci, SEC Network. Catch him on Rally Cap with us here every Monday. Luch, we appreciate it, man. Thanks as always for the time.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. Have a great day.
You do the same. We're brought to you by Evermore, EVA-MOR, Evermore.com. Evermore.com had plenty of Evermore flowing at the family Easter. That's what's in our fridge. So you come to my house, you grab a bottle of water, you're grabbing a bottle of Evermore. You could buy it individually. You could buy it bulk, online, at great local retailers. Go to Evermore.com to find a retailer near you. It's easy. EVA-MOR, Evermore.com. Hit the little hamburger menu, drop down, find a store, type in your zip code, and then, boom, it'll pop up all the locations where you could find it. Evermore.com. EVA-MOR, Evermore.com. Natural artesian water, rare alkaline source. It's a healthier alternative, and it's a Louisiana product, y'all. In Covington, right there on the North Shore. Evermore.com. EVA-MOR, Evermore.com. All right, it is After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Still a lot to do here in hour number 3. If you want to jump aboard, you can. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Muse went and dug up a Saints mock draft roundup. Want to get into that next. So about 15 or so mock drafts. Is there a consensus with where a lot of these mock drafts have the Saints going? We'll get to that here in just a smidge as well. I got to give you some of my thoughts from the LSU baseball weekend. Haven't done that. We had Ben McDonald here in hour number 1. We had Mike Triplett last hour. You just heard David Dellucci. I'll give you a few thoughts on the baseball weekend for the Tigers as well before we get out of here. All right, it is After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Man, we were outside yesterday, had some family over for Easter, threw some meat on the grill last evening. Beautiful day around sunset. Those patio pots just popping with color from the flowers we got at Clegg's Nursery. Listen, if it's the flower beds, the patio pots. I went over to my mom's house yesterday early in the day, my mom and my dad. My mom had planted a lot of those Peggy Martin roses. They are gorgeous. So many different colors as well. So many different varieties of roses, all the rose bushes that you want. They got them at Clegg's Nursery. And listen, every time, I know I stress this, but every time they get a new shipment of something in over at Clegg's, they post it on their Facebook page. So make sure you go follow the Clegg's Nursery Facebook page. So whenever they get something in, you can see the selection there as it comes in. Like this was an hour ago. Endless Summer Garden hydrangeas, 3 gallons, $29.99 each. Beautiful selection. Those are gorgeous. You can check them out over at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford is taking 15 to 20% off all new 2024 models in stock. 15 to 20% off all new 2024 Ford models on our lot. Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Draft week, y'all. Hope you're having a good one. Thanks for hanging out with us here. If you had a long weekend, hope you enjoyed it. Belated happy Easter to everybody. Hope you had a wonderful celebration, safe, great time with family, loved ones. Glad to have you back here with us on a massive week. LSU, Tennessee in baseball later this week. Zurich is later this week, of course, and you got the NFL draft. By the way, a little housekeeping. On Thursday, AFR Live from the Tap Room in River Ranch in Lafayette. So we'll be there in Lafayette. So our friends over at ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles, our Delta Media friends are hosting us. So they're having a big full lineup draft day over at Tap Room. So look forward to being there for AFR. But as soon as AFR ends, I'm jetting right back to Baton Rouge because we're going to have our draft watch party at Don Juan. So if you're going to be in Lafayette, 3 to 6, look for you at Tap Room. After that, coming back to BR. If you're looking for a place to watch the draft, Don Juan's been our host for our draft party the past handful of years. Excited to get back there again. So our lineup will be there. Hester is going to be in Green Bay, and Hunt's on vacation. So no Hester, no Hunt. But the rest of our lineup will be there. We look forward to seeing y'all there, hopefully at Don Juan. Come hang out for some or all of the draft on Thursday with craft cocktails and cigars. We'll have the draft. The sound will pump through. We'll if you can't be there with us, we'll be streaming our live stream reaction on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube and Facebook. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you there at Don Juan on Thursday. Speaking of, got a little mock draft roundup here that Muse threw together. So this is 15 analysts that have thrown together their most recent mock drafts. Of the 15 that Muse pulled, 5 of the 15 have Shedeur Sanders going to the Saints. Interestingly, Jordan Reed, Mel Kiper, Field Yates, all of ESPN, and then Rhett Lewis and Mike Band of NFL.com. So I don't think it's coincidental that the analysts that have the Saints taking Shedeur work together. That's a shared information thing. So someone's probably got information they think is good and why that's going to happen that way. After that, so there's 10 other projections. Kelvin Banks is on here twice. Tet McMillan is on there once. Shamar Stewart. Will Johnson is on there a couple times. Michael Williams is on there. Jade Barron from Texas. Jackson Dart. Chad Reuter from NFL.com has the Saints taking Jackson Dart at 9 overall. That, to me, would be the one where you just kind of would throw your hands in the air. And it's not because I don't like the idea of Jackson Dart. We started the show today. If you missed it, Adam Schefter has a report that that the Saints are not necessarily interested in Shedeur Sanders. They're more interested in Jackson Dart and would likely take an offensive or defensive lineman at 9. And then they've already made calls, according to a report from Schefter, making calls to move up from 40. So what you might see is the Saints take best available at 9 and then find a way to try to get ahead of Cleveland to take Jackson Dart. So is that late round 1? Is it the beginning of round 2? Don't know. But effectively, the Saints would take the 40th pick and probably some of the draft capital they got from Washington. Remember, the Saints got Washington's 3 and 4 this year. So they have an additional 3rd and 4th round pick. So you've got draft capital to be able to make it happen if you need to move up a few spots to take Jackson Dart for whatever you think might be the spot to get him if that's the guy you want. I think it would be really interesting to know what Kellen Moore's opinion is and what his role will be in this draft room as well. So it's pretty clear somewhere along the line in this draft, the Saints are going to pick a quarterback. It's just a matter of where. And so we were talking about by the way, for whatever it's worth, the odds, the latest odds, and this is FanDuel, the latest odds when you look at draft by position, odds by position, it's still a plus 110 quarterback. This is, by the way, it's up at LouisianaSports.net. It's free. Quarterback plus 110 is the odds-on favorite. Then a big drop before you get to defensive line edge at plus 410. After that, tight end at plus 600. That would be Tyler Warren. Cornerback at plus 900. Then offensive line at plus 1,000. And that probably makes sense because what offensive lineman is going to be there on the board at 9? You presume Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks, Membu from Missouri. Like the top guys in this draft might already be gone by the time you pick at 9. So I keep just saying there's going to be someone there at 9. There is just going to be a player there at 9 that you have in the top 10 on your draft board. Take that player. It's just that's how it's going to play out. Just math. Math is going to work out that way. So you're going to have an opportunity to get a great player. What's interesting, though, is as I go through a lot of your reaction, a lot of you are reacting very negatively to the idea of the Saints trading up to get Jackson Dart. Sean said, I have no faith in Mickey Loomis's evaluation at all. It's a typical Aints move. Can't just use the draft capital we have to get as cheap as possible. Trevor said, dear God, they're the dumbest organization ever exist. Chris said, just flatly mistake. There was another one I wanted to read. Here it is. Brian, who said, in one of the worst draft classes for quarterbacks in recent years, the Saints are going to trade up for a quarterback. That's the most Mickey Loomis thing ever. Makes total sense. Facepalm emoji. I just want to be clear. Like, I don't have a problem trading up for a quarterback. I don't. I have a problem trading up from 9 to take a quarterback in this class. Like, if it were a different year, like a season ago, if you went from 9 to 2 to take Jaden Daniels, that would make sense. What's hard to come to grips with is doing that in this year's draft class. I'm okay if you take the best player available at 9 and then Jackson Dart's sitting there at 31, 32, and you go from 40 and move up to 32, because then you're in round 1, so you get the 5th-year player option on a rookie deal, and you're probably going to see a pick swap there. So you'd go into 32, give them 40, and then you'd probably give up like a 3, maybe a pick in the next year as well. So, you know, maybe you'd recoup like a 3, like a pick swap in the 3rd round, something like that. Ross Jackson had a proposed trade. It's up at LouisianaSports.net for the Saints moving in to the 32nd pick. This is what he projects in this pick swap for the Saints getting Jackson Dart at 32, trading with the Eagles to get back in round 1. So the Saints would send number 40, number 131, and a 2026 second-round pick to Philly for number 32 and number 134. So effectively, you'd be pick swapping in round 3, pick swapping round 1, 2, and then you'd give up next year's 2. Okay. Like, I don't hate that if it's getting a quarterback that you think could be your franchise guy. And if you've done your due diligence and you love Jackson Dart, then I'm okay with that approach on it. What I'm not okay with is if you were going to move, because again, moving up in the top 10 is going to force you to give up a future year's first-round pick. And this roster is not good enough to justify giving up future year's first-round picks because you need everything. So I don't think the Saints are taking 9 players in this draft. So if you're going to package picks to move up to get a quarterback that you love at the end of round 1, there's a lot of sensible argument for why that would make sense. Now, we can have a conversation if you like Jackson Dart, and you may not, and they may love him, and I may be sort of lukewarm. Okay. Like, that's a great conversation to have. But I'm just looking at value. Like, would it be worth it to move into the end of round 1? You give up next year's 2, you pick swap and give up to, yeah, I would do that for a quarterback. I would have no problem doing that. If it's the right guy that your head coach, who's a quarterback's coach, OC, is bullish on. Okay. And this is a guy that's worked with Dak, worked with Justin Herbert, worked with Jalen Hurts. He knows what elite level quarterback play looks like in the NFL. He's coached it. So, yeah, I'm not telling you you're getting a future Hall of Famer there, but I don't hate the idea. What I hate is the idea of moving up from 9 to 3 or 4. 9 to 3 to go take Shadur. Like, that I would hate. Taking Jackson Dart at 9, I could not get on board with that because there's no indication that anyone else has Jackson Dart that high on their board. So why would you take him at 9 when in theory you could make a deal to get him later in round 1 at some point where it would make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, then you look at Tyler Shutt later, or you look at Quinn Ewers later, or you look at a different prospect later. But I can be okay with it. for the right deal. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Supper Club. Now, we're just coming off of Easter, but Mother's Day, y'all, is a few weeks away. Supper Club is closed Sunday, Monday, open Tuesday to Saturday, but they are open for Mother's Day. So if you want to treat mom to Supper Club, the best experience you'll ever have on Mother's Day, get your reservations now. They're open from 11 to 3 on Mother's Day. So they're seating for lunch on Mother's Day from 11 to 3. Get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. You can book your reservations right now, supperclubbtr.com. Also, remember, graduation right around the corner. You want to have those graduation parties? You can. Just your family, get your reservation. Extended family, 15 people, get that. You can reserve the private room, which can seat a dozen or so. They can manipulate to get a few more in there if you need to. Might have done that last year for my birthday. Had an awesome time, by the way. Or if you need to reserve half the restaurant, you can do that as well. They can configure it to meet your party size. Supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. You remember, you can always email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Ben McDonald was here in hour one. Mike Triplett last hour. David Dellucci just a bit ago. If you miss anything, you can catch AFR on demand, presented by Brett Golf. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. I do want to give you a little bit of my thoughts from the LSU baseball weekend. Haven't done that yet because we had Ben and Luch on here. I'll give you a few thoughts that I have as we sort of set the stage. It's a big week for LSU with Tennessee coming to the box this weekend with an awful lot on the line for a couple teams that have identical records right now in conference play. All right, it is after further review. Stick around.
AFR.
Tell you every day about the advanced turnaround group over at Action Industries. Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics and a Louisiana born and bred company. Since 1982, 43 years in business, Action Industries. And remember, the advanced turnaround group is a subsidiary of Action Industries. So it's turnaround season, of course, now until about October. You know that if you live in that world. You need to know Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group, because you know this. You don't get hired inside the fence if you don't have an exemplary safety record and if you don't do good work. Well, Action Industries has been around for 43 years. Their safety record beats the industry standard, and they do awesome work. And the other thing that's so impressive about Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group, they know who they are. They're not going to do your $200 million job. You got a 100-person job, you'll always get their best. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Glad to have you with us. We'll get to Otterlocks here in about 10 minutes from right now. Hope you had a great weekend. LSU baseball took 2 out of 3 from Alabama. Just a couple of thoughts. I do think sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. You see a weekend where LSU strikes out 30 times, where you lose game 3. You were really dead in the water game 1 until you had the dramatics from Ashton Larson with the 3-run homer, and then Milam followed up in the 7th with a 3-run homer, and you come back and win that game. I think the big picture is you had to get this weekend at home. You're playing Alabama. You were at home. You gave up your margin for error by getting swept at Auburn. You had to win this weekend, and you did. So you stay on pace, to go 20-10, which we all look at as the target. You're the only team in this era that's won 20 games in the league and not been a national seed with South Carolina back in 2016 when they won 20 games. But especially when you look at the league where it is now, your strength of schedule is going to be fine. Your RPI is going to be fine. You get to 20 wins, you're a lock. So you're pacing toward that. You got the toughest stretch of your season ahead now. You're going to play Tennessee at home. You're going to go to a resurgent Texas A&M, and then you're going to come home against Arkansas. 3 toughest weekends, all 3 in a row. This is what's going to make or break your – I don't want to say make or break your season, but it's going to make or break your opportunity to be a national seed, which is what we're all looking at. A few things. I know this is something I've talked about all year. And if you're watching Locked on LSU this weekend after Game 3, I totally blew a gasket. It's indefensible not to have Jake Brown in the lineup every day. I'm not going to say anything now that I haven't been saying all year. He's a 5-tool guy. He's one of your best players. He's your best defensive right fielder. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. He gives you a threat of his speed on the base paths as well. The triple on Saturday he legged that double into a triple because he's got great speed. He hit that into the right center field gap. He went opposite field homer for his pinch hit at bat. There's no justification. There isn't for not having him in the lineup every day. It should be the same as with Stephen Milam at short, or Jared Jones at first, or Daniel Dickinson at second, or Derek Curiel in left, or Chris Stanfield at center. Like, you were taking a Sharpie every day, and you were putting Jake Brown in right field every day. And to not do that, I believe, is negligent. Like, you are negatively affecting your team. I want to be very clear. I am not saying Fry, Pearson have no role. That's not at all what I'm saying. But in the same way that you can't justify, like, we all think Ashton Larson is a really good baseball player, don't we? Like, he was a very good player as a freshman last year. He became a starter by the end of the season. He can handle the bat. He's good in the field. But you have Derek Curiel in left, and you're never taking him out ever. And Chris Stanfield's hitting .370 and catches everything in center field, and you're never taking him out ever. It's unfortunate for Larson that he's just been passed right now by 2 guys that are better. Well, guess what? Next year, Stanfield's is going to be gone, and Curiel's going to go play center, and Larson will have an opportunity to win a job. I feel the same way about Jake Brown. It's a left-handed bat that needs to be in there every single day. But Jay Johnson has talked about it so many times, like his belief in Ethan Fry. And Fry is a super high ceiling guy. He's got the body and the build, and like he's going, like he is what they look like. Terrio's talked about it when you project toward a big leaguer. But Jay Johnson's job at LSU is not to produce big leaguers. His job is to win games at LSU. And not playing Jake Brown, especially when every day, when your offense has scuffled the last 2 weeks, just, it seems so obvious, especially when you watch Ethan Fry hit so well against lefties and struggle against righties. I mean, game one, you saw it. They started a righty, he's DH, and he strikes out his first 2 at-bats against the righty. Now, he did single against the righty, but then they go to the bullpen, lefty, he walks and homers against the lefty. Like, it's pretty obvious here, man. That's also a guy that's seen his batting average in conference play drop 100 points in the last 2 weeks. When you've started to play him every day, give him a favorable matchup. Platoon Fry and Pearson at DH, play Brown in right field every day. It feels like a very obvious answer that hunch, loyalty, whatever you want to call it, is getting in the way of that decision. The other thing is Chase Shores. You can certainly win in Omaha with 2 starting pitchers. LSU did it in 2023 with Skeens and Floyd. You didn't have a 3. Now, you got great postseason performances from Thatcher Hurd. You had guys step up like Griffin Herring and Nate Ackenhausen and do things you didn't expect. You had unexpected great performances. And that can certainly happen. It did for LSU in 2023. It is just also uncommon to have that happen. I'll be very interested to see what happens with Chase Shores' role here. Connor Ware got the start in Game 3. That's a guy, if you remember at the beginning of the season, we talked about was the one who was most likely next if anybody in the rotation wobbled. And he was a guy that was awesome in the fall and awesome in preseason. And it just hasn't clicked for Connor Ware. But now he's got his opportunity, and you're talking about a big dude from the left side who can be really good. He's got dominant stuff. He can command it. Shores is an interesting one because I look at Chase Shores as a guy, and Ben McDonald, I thought, talked about this really well earlier. You're talking about a dude that's 6'8", that bumps 95 and higher, and his slider keeps getting better as the season's gone along. Like, the projectability for Chase Shores is great. Like, he is going to be drafted this July and is going to sign a pro contract because they're going to look at him and go, okay, he's 95 plus. He's got a really good slider, and I can work with that. The question is, how do you maximize him now? And I asked Ben McDonald in hour 1 that question, and his answer was, it's just mound time. It's just continuing. Well, how do you get him mound time if you don't keep running him out there? So, and I gave this example as well on my Locked on LSU show, and some of you scoffed at it. Some people scoffed at it. But it is very reminiscent of Ty Floyd in 2023. Now, not everybody's going to remember this. We all remember 17 strikeouts against Florida in the College World Series. We don't all remember what that season was like for Ty Floyd. And by the way, I went and did some Twitter searching this weekend for what some of y'all were saying about Ty Floyd in that season. And if I need to, I may pull those up. Because it's easy to remember 17 strikeouts. It's hard to remember, going 3 2/3 against, or 2 2/3 against Alabama when you allowed 6 runs on 6 hits, all of them earned. You walked 4. You threw a wild pitch. Yeah, Ty Floyd did that in that championship season. Or even against Kentucky in the Super Regional, where he only went 3 1/3. 3 runs on 7 hits. Like, it wasn't great for Ty Floyd for the bulk of that season in conference play. But the stuff was good. They kept running him out there. And when it hit, it hit. And so I know you're going to recall it. They go, are you really compared Chase Shores to Ty Floyd? None of you remember what you were saying about Ty Floyd during that season before that run at the end. I mean, I can run through his SEC starts. Against A&M, 3 1/3, 5 runs on 4 hits, walked 2. Against Arkansas, 2 runs on 3 hits was good, 6 1/3. It was a good start for him. Kind of like Shores against Oklahoma. Against Tennessee, 4 runs on 6 hits. Struck out 5, walked 1. Not bad. South Carolina, 4 runs on 1 hit. He walked 4, made it only 3 innings. Kentucky, regular season, 4 2/3, 5 runs, 6 hits, walked 3. Like, it wasn't great until it was. But you had to keep getting him mound time to get him comfortable. And when it was good, it was otherworldly good. And Chase Shores has it in there. He's got the ability in there. It's just, do you have the patience to keep running him out there to get him comfortable? Like, remembering he didn't pitch against live hitting for 2 years. 2 years! So it's just a process of him getting more comfortable and getting more feel and just being more comfortable commanding those pitches against live hitters, in-game action, in pressure situations. And you hope he figures it out before the season ends, because he's going to hear his name called in July. And you'd love to have him on the mound in a big spot and deliver for you before his career at LSU is over, because it's ending in July. Like, he's going to be drafted in July, and he's going to sign. And he should. So we'll see what they do this weekend. If they stick with Connor Ware, they use Shores out of the bullpen. But at some point, in the same way that Jay Johnson in 23, before that season started, said, for us to reach whatever goals we have, he said Thatcher Hurd's going to have to pitch key innings for us. And he was right. Thatcher Hurd ended up starting the championship game. It's similar here. Like, for you to get where you have to go, like, Chase Shores is going to have to pitch significant innings for you in big spots somewhere in the postseason. You got to keep getting him mound time. We'll see, how, if it's bullpen, if it's starting, how they do it. But they got to keep running him out there, because you got to get him comfortable and get something of significance out of him in the postseason. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020, 924-2020 for Dr. Blake Williamson over at the Williamson Eye Center. Remember, right there on Suma in Baton Rouge, you turn off a Bluebonnet on a Suma. If you come right up to that stop sign, like you're heading toward the Baton Rouge General, the building on the right, the first 2 floors are the Williamson Eye Center. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. You can do your annual eye exam there. You can buy your contacts or glasses there. And if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, they have a refractive procedure no matter your age or your refractive issue. Call 924-2020 to set up that consultation. It is a free consultation. 924-2020. They also have 0% financing as well. So don't let ability to pay stop you from the gift of sight. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We got 1 segment to go. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. Thanks for hanging out with us here. We'll find out what we're betting on tonight. Next, it's AFR.
AFR.
Doesn't matter if you're in Baton Rouge or New Orleans or Miami or New York or LA or Chicago or Ames, Iowa or Dubai or London, Paris. If you run a business or you have any type of business endeavor and you need the right people, Glow Resources can help you find those right people. They specialize in skilled blue-collar labor, but their professional placement division can help you find any type of office job employee that you need, from office assistants to C-level management. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com, G-L-O, glowresources.com. They have a 96% success rate. And in the unlikely event that Glow Resources finds you an employee and it doesn't work out, they will give you a prorated refund, or they'll find another employee for you for free. So what do you have to lose? It's Glow Resources, helping your business maximize efficiency and profitability. glowresources.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the 2025 Jeep Compass Sport for only $23,995. $23,995 or 2025 Jeep Compass with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Normally we get Otterlocks here, but can't get Jimmy on the phone. And Hunt is usually the one that reaches out to Jimmy to get Otterlocks for LouisianaSports.net, and Hunt's at the beach. So, I don't know. Hopefully Otter will call here in the next 3 minutes, and we'll get Otterlocks before we get out of here. Muse, did the Easter Bunny bring you candy?
No candy.
Paulie, did the Easter Bunny bring you candy?
Lots of it, yeah.
So that's good. See, what that tells me is that Paulie was good all year, and Muse got coal.
That's the wrong holiday.
No, it's the right one. He got coal in his Easter basket, didn't he? That would have got.
Yes, he did.
Yep. Muse got coal in his Easter basket. At our house, the Easter Bunny is more like Santa Claus. Less like the Easter Bunny, more like Santa Claus. It's like a full-on Santa Claus holiday. Like, I think the Easter Bunny needs a sleigh and a sack to get all the stuff in our house.
Lots of goodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not just candy then. Like,
I don't know if there was any candy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man.
No. The Easter Bunny treats our house like Christmas.
Yeah. He must have borrowed some elves. Help make all the stuff.
No, you ever heard the expression like rabbits?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because you have a lot of babies.
A lot of
so
offspring.
You can enlist your rabbit children to help.
There we go.
That's what the Easter Bunny did, I think.
Okay.
All right, we got about we're short on time. Hit it.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otterlocks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, you got 60 seconds. Fire away.
All right, NBA game. We've taken a team that both teams that were in position to close out. Detroit had an 8-point lead into the fourth quarter, but 21-0 run flipped that game around. They still had a chance to cover. They cut it as much as low as 6. We'll take the 7 now. It's up to 7. Key injury for Detroit. Guy that was matched up, McDonald Williams, matched up with Karl Anthony Towns. He's out tonight, so softens play a little bit, but taking Detroit early. And then taking the Clippers, had as much as a 15-point second-half lead. We think they'll close it out this time around against the Denver Nuggets. Westbrook, uncharacteristic, big game-changing plays late in that one and in overtime. And then in Major League Baseball, 2 games are underway. We put out on the website earlier. Both are scoreless at this point. In the 3rd inning, Yankees no score with the Guardians, and then the Reds no score with the Marlins. We like both the Yankees and the Reds, the visiting teams, in these matchups.
All right. Detroit and the Clippers, Yankees and Reds are your 4 plays tonight. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Mike Anderson Seafood. Let's
All right.
go get that Burnside salad.
Thank you, Otter. Have a great night.
Good luck.
All right. Thanks, man. We'll see you. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower